So with the release of Venice Unleashed, unsurprisingly, many of you guys have questions in the comments about the game, such as, is it legal? How can I mod my maps? What is the long-term roadmap of the game? Where are features such as friends list and the map editor that is so much talked about? So to endeavour to answer these questions, I've actually spoken to Kiwidog, one of the developers on Venice Unleashed, scoured the VU forums and watched an interview from back in 2018 where Kiwidog and NoteFate talk about their aspirations for the game. Now, if you have an hour or so, I'd recommend going to watch that interview, but this video will provide us a quick 411 and be broken down into 5 sections looking at the legality of the game moving forward, modding the game, 3, 6 and 12 month short-term goals, what we won't see in the game, and finally concluding with the longer term vision of the project. Welcome back to the channel, chats. Before we get into it though, if you do enjoy, be sure to subscribe. We do everything Battlefield on this channel, so if you're a Battlefield fan, you never know, this could be the place for you. So one of the major concerns then I've seen in the comments is Venice Unleashed legal? And in all honesty, the answer is technically probably no, it isn't legal. But in practicality, there aren't any major issues you should be concerned with, and there certainly aren't any repercussions on you as a player, with the worst case scenario being the game gets shut down. NoteFate and Kiwidog talk about this pretty extensively in the interview.
We've been called some explicit words by some members of DICE, while other members were like, hey, we appreciate this, we can't say more than this. Yeah, we can't endorse this.
As they point out, there's been no official communication from DICE or EA, but rather just rumours, with some developers at DICE supporting the project coming from a modding background themselves, whilst others not so much. I have since spoken to Kiwidog and he has confirmed they still haven't had any official communication with DICE since 2018, despite reaching out, which I do find odd. However, I think if DICE and EA were going to shut this down, they would have done it many years ago now in the early development stages of this project, rather than waiting for the game's general release to the public. Now, I think the most likely scenario is that they can't endorse the use of their copyrighted works in an official capacity, but they are happy for the community to play Venice Unleashed, bringing life and publicity around a title that probably really isn't making them much money at this point. After all, it was released in 2011. In addition, the guys pointed out they have gone to great lengths to ensure players of Venice Unleashed actually own a copy of Battlefield 3.
To play VU, you need not only to own the game, we need to verify that you own the game through your Origin account.
In addition, they haven't received any nasty cease and desist orders from DICE, which is a good sign. Many of you are probably wondering as well how to get started with modding and creating your own servers, and if you are looking to do that, I am in the midst of creating a video series on that, and I'll leave a card to that above. However, in today's video I want to talk about modding more generally. So first, what you have to understand is that modding isn't done by any one person for Venice Unleashed, but essentially anybody that wants to create a mod and has the know-how can.
And then from that point on, it was just, figuring out all the different things to be able to add more and more features to the engine to make it do what we want it to do. So, for example, to allow people to make their own mods, to allow custom content, and all those different things.
What NoteFate and Kiwidog have essentially done is provide a framework where people can choose to come in and create their own mods, and there are already tons, for example, like Prop Hunt, Infected, Kill Streaks, the Box Game, to smaller mods such as Stopping Grenade Spam and Battle Recorder, all of which can be found in the Venice Unleashed forums, which I'll link below. However, due to the fact that there isn't any kind of centralized hub of modders where timeframes are given and we can expect them to adhere to those timeframes, it becomes hard to say what mods are coming out to the game and when. These mods aren't like the release of DLC from a major developer, but merely numerous passion projects from dedicated fans that often complete these mods in their own spare time and on their own timelines. Yet, once these mods are completed, for those who don't have the time to create a whole new mod or are less technically savvy like myself, we can simply import these community created mods into our own servers for our enjoyment. One much talked about mod amongst the community though is the map editor mod, allowing players to create their own maps, textures and models. Now this mod is technically able to be used at present, and I'll leave a link to it in the description. However, it isn't complete, and as such you may cause your server to crash. Now, speaking to Kiwi on this front again, There's no official time frame. However, he says the majority of the work is done for the map editor, yet he did note that there have been serious issues, and nothing but issues was his phraseology actually, when it came to the implementation of the map editor. So although the majority of the work is done, he couldn't commit to a dead time frame. Now, moving on to short-term 3, 6, 12 months goals, and I would say there are 4 main areas they are focusing on. From the Venice Unleashed website, you can see that the map editor, the ability to remotely host assets, a team voice chat are all showcased within the roadmap section of the website. Yet Kiwi also mentioned over the next year they would be working on an anti-cheat system, but he did stress that they would not be pushing this out if it didn't work well, just merely it was one of the only actual plans they had discussed at this point between him and NoFate. Now, again, short-term timeframes are hard to determine here, as this is very much a hobby rather than a career for these guys. Neither Kiwi or NoFate are actually getting paid for their efforts here, and as they pointed out in the interview, things in life can come up that distract them and take time away from the Venice Unleashed project.
Both of us have full-time jobs and are students. Like, when we get chunks of time, we'll put chunks of time in there, but there's just sometimes where we don't know in the far, even up into the far future, if we're gonna have time to even touch the project, just because like life gets in the way. Like, there was a point in time.
Personally, I'm just impressed that these two gods continued a project over 5 years whilst receiving no personal financial gain, with little to no support from DICE and EA to understand the whole Frostbite engine. And if you listen to the interview, understanding the whole Frostbite engine was no easy task, to say the least.
With like compilers, like we crash compilers, and like they'll run out of memory, various things like that. And then we were like, okay, we can't keep going like this, and we had to refactor all of Venice Unleashed, and that was about a 20-hour day for about 4 hours straight. 4 days straight of me doing nothing but refactoring VU.
And on top of all of that, they had the ever-looming risk that all of their work could be shut down by EA and DICE. I mean, that takes some serious motivation and balls to do a project like this. So gratitude goes out to them once again, and all the team behind the scenes supporting the project. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I also had a brief discussion about what we wouldn't see in the game at all, or at least in the foreseeable future. For one, I was curious as whether we would see an in-game user interface where we could customize our servers and choose between maybe a list of community favorite mods rather than having to do it externally to the VU client. However, this doesn't look like something that is on the horizon at present. In addition, many of you have been asking about a friend system where you can join and invite friends. However, at present, this doesn't look like it's in development, yet the team suggests you can use Venice Unleashed's Discord integration to join friends in the meantime. Some have also inquired about single player and co-op, and although they do plan to port single player maps to multiplayer, there are no other plans for single player or co-op in the immediate future. The focus is purely on multiplayer at this point in time. Finally, the long-term vision of the project, and the long-term vision is to allow the Frostbite engine to be used as a complete sandbox.
That's kind of what I was talking about before. We want people to be able to just take VU with their Battlefield 3 installation and then just turn it into a complete different game if they want to.
Total conversion.
Total conversion, yes.
They want the engine not simply to enable us to reimagine how we play Battlefield, but completely remove the limitations on modders, allowing them to create essentially whatever game they want using the Frostbite engine. An ambitious goal, but if it's one they can actually pull off, how epic would it be? It could be something like we've never seen before, going beyond even popular Forge mode and map editors that exist in Halo, for example. Once again though, I just wanted to thank the whole team and those who have contributed to the community fund. If you'd like to donate, I'll leave a link down in the description. If you did enjoy, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We're going to be doing a lot more Venice Unleashed content moving forward from here. But as always, thanks for watching. Merry Christmas everybody, and peace out.